Are you looking to grow your personal empowerment? If so, this video is going to share with you the 3 things that create our reality. And once we understand what those are and understand it from both sides, that is going to help you to create your own personal empowerment. I know this topic so well because I have run several workshops on this topic. I also utilize all of this in my life every single day, and I also utilize it with all of my clients in my business that is Be You to Be Full hypnosis and coaching. So let's get right into it. So the 3 things that create our reality. Number 1 is the words that we use. Number 2, it is the stories that we tell ourselves. And number 3, it is the pictures that those stories create in our mind. Yes, it is that simple. So let me break it down for you. So the words that we use. How many times have you maybe caught yourself saying, "Oh my God, this is terrible," versus taking a step back and saying, "Ugh, this is really uncomfortable and challenging, but I'm going to get through it." Even if you don't say, "but I'm going to get through it," just really acknowledging this is uncomfortable and it's challenging. That is way different than "this is terrible." And even though I'm speaking and I'm kind of role playing a little bit, even when I did that, "this is terrible," that's what our body language does. And so if our body is doing that when we're saying a word, what is that implanting inside of us? Right there, just by that word, "this is terrible." We're scrunched in. We're kind of like falling within ourselves. Our body is really expressing things just in using that word versus acknowledging, "Oh, this is uncharted territory for me. I'm quite uncomfortable, and this is a challenge." But what follows that in our mind is implying that, but we're going to get through it. It's not terrible. It's a challenge. That's just an example, but think about the words that you use and just do yourself a favor and be mindful for the next day and just pay attention to the words that you're using. If you miss that though, you might be feeling something in your body. Maybe all of a sudden you're feeling a headache. Maybe you're feeling like, a little tight in the shoulders or the neck or something like that. Or maybe your stomach is feeling a little flippy or whatever you want to call it. And just stop for a moment and just connect into what were you just thinking about? And then however you were thinking, your words were probably antagonizing your body and almost creating that feeling inside of you. So our words are so important. Just going to that example, terrible versus challenging and uncomfortable. It makes me think about somebody standing at the base of a mountain and wanting to get to the top. And it's just a straight cliff. Well, and looking at that, yeah, that might look terrible and that paints that picture, right? Whereas if you can use words such as, and again, this is just an example, throw in yours, but if you can use words such as challenging and uncomfortable, you might start to see that mountain in front of you as far as having some footholds, some handholds, that type of thing to let you know that yes, it's a challenge, but you're going to get there. There's a path for you. So you know what? I'm so glad that I just automatically jumped in and gave that analogy about the mountain, because I'm going to jump to number 3, because it's the words we say, it's the stories we tell ourselves, and then the pictures we have in our mind. And so I wasn't even realizing I was doing that until right now, but I just painted that picture of that mountain because that's what comes to my mind when I think about terrible versus challenging. And so if you're doing that in your mind with the words that you're using, that's the picture that you're painting. Well, no wonder it might be hard for you, right? I'm so glad that accidentally happened because I was going to get to that point last, but I think I covered it all in one. But also kind of coming to number 2 then, the stories that we tell ourselves. The stories we tell ourselves can either be serving or they can be disserving. And so, I won't because I'm going to move on to something else, but I don't even think I need to use that example anymore about terrible and challenging because I think I just did with all of that. There was, I'm going to tell you, this was several years ago, but I had worked in a company And there was somebody who was new there. And every time I walked by, this is about the stories we tell ourselves. Every time I walked by this person, I would say good morning to this person. Well, they would never say good morning back. And that happened a couple of times or whatever. Well, sure enough, by the third or fourth time, the story I told myself was, that person is not a nice person. That person is rude, that type of thing. And that was the story that I was telling myself. Well, sure enough, once they introduced this person and walked him around the building and all that kind of stuff, I actually learned that this person was actually very hard of hearing. So every morning that I walked by and I said good morning, they actually didn't hear me. And actually, in hindsight, when I look back at it, their head was down because they were, writing, or they're on their computer or something like that. So they didn't even really could see my mouth moving or whatever to read my lips to know that I was saying good morning. But yet that was the story that I told myself. And come to find out, it was very, very wrong. But how many times do we do that for ourselves? Are we telling ourselves a story that we can't do something, that we're not deserving of something? This is reserved for somebody else, but not for me. Well, that's not a very serving story, is it? Whereas if you start to tell yourself a story, even if you want to start with wonder thinking, I wonder what it might feel like for me to have that opportunity. I wonder what it would feel like to do such and such, because then that starts to help you build a very structured, productive, very positive story for yourself. And then with that, just imagine the pictures that you're going to have in your mind as you're thinking about that story, and as you are using those words that are actually motivating for you, inspiring for you, productive for you. So, in conclusion, just remember this: the things that create our reality, the words we say, the stories we tell ourselves, and the pictures that it paints in our mind. So if you are feeling not confident, if you are feeling disempowered, I guarantee you it is because of one, or actually all of those three things. And all of that is 100% in your control. All of it is. So if you are looking for that personal growth, if you are looking for, the next move in your life, pay attention to those three things. Make those quick little adjustments, and they'll all follow suit because they're all so closely connected, and you will begin to see a change. Now, if this is something that I can help you with in any regard, I do offer free 30-minute consultation calls to any prospective client, and you can find that on my website at ConnieJoHolmes.com. All right, so good luck with this, and I do look forward to hearing from you if you do need my help in this regard. All right, thank you so much. Bye.